Okay, so get this, listeners.
Yep.
Someone sent us a document about the Saturn Magic Square,
Hmm.
and it claims that this uh, this ancient like 3 by 3 number grid
Right.
could actually be like some kind of blueprint for reality itself.
Wow.
It connects it to like everything, quantum mechanics,
Hmm.
our brains,
Okay.
gravitational waves even.
That's a lot.
I know, right? Sounds pretty wild, but
Yeah.
honestly, the connections that this document lays out are
Yeah.
they're really intriguing.
It definitely pushes the boundaries of, what we usually think about.
Yeah.
We're talking some pretty complex concepts, but
Okay.
the implications, if even a little of it's true, are just enormous.
Yeah, absolutely. So, for those people out there that, they're not really familiar with magic squares,
Cool.
could you maybe give us like a quick explanation of what makes this the Saturn Magic Square so special?
Yeah, absolutely. So imagine like you have a 3 by 3 grid, right? And then you arrange the numbers 1 through 9 in a very specific way. And
Okay.
what makes it magic, I guess, is that every row, every column, and even the diagonals all add up to the same number, 15.
Oh, interesting.
But it's more than just some math puzzle.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this specific square, it's popped up, throughout history
Really?
in different cultures. Yeah, from like ancient Rome to Islamic traditions.
Wow.
People have been attributing all kinds of like significance to this thing for centuries.
It's pretty interesting. I mean, a pattern that just like keeps coming up
Yeah.
time and time again.
Yeah,
Different cultures, different places.
yeah.
It kind of hints, I guess, at something like deeper.
It's
going
wax
on.
on.
But how does a number grid connect to something like quantum physics? I mean, that's a big jump.
It is, and that's where this document gets really interesting. It
Excellent.
suggests that the Saturn Magic Square, or SMS as we'll call it, works in conjunction with like these other concepts like vortex math and Tesla's, fascination with the numbers 3, 6, and 9.
Okay, so you're saying it's like not just this one thing.
No, it's not just the SMS.
It's tied in with like all these
Yeah, it's like it's bringing in all these other like systems.
concepts and systems. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of vortex math? I feel like I've vaguely heard of it.
Yeah, it rings a bell.
Rings a bell, yeah.
It's got something to do with like arranging numbers in a circular pattern, right?
Yeah, like a spiral or something.
Right. It's this system basically where numbers are arranged in this like spiral, and what's wild is that it reveals a repeating sequence, almost like a hidden code or something within the numbers themselves.
Interesting. Okay, and then Tesla.
Yeah, Tesla, as you said, he was just like utterly convinced
Yeah.
that the numbers 3, 6, and 9, they held the key to, the fundamental structure of the whole universe.
Okay, so we got this ancient number square.
Right.
We got a spiral of repeating numbers.
Yeah.
We got Tesla and his numerical obsessions.
Yes.
How does this document like connect all this stuff?
So it all comes down to this idea of a unified coherence framework.
Yeah.
That's like a recurring theme in this whole thing.
Okay.
And it suggests that the SMS, vortex math, and Tesla's 369, they aren't just separate ideas. They're like pieces of a bigger puzzle.
Okay.
And the glue, the thing that holds it all together, is this ratio, 7.28.
Oh, 7.28. I feel like that's familiar.
It is, yeah.
Isn't that the ratio like of days in a week to days in a lunar cycle?
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
wow.
it's this ratio woven into, time itself that the document uses to link the SMS to like the quantum world.
Okay, so time is like the link.
It's at the bridge, yeah.
Okay.
It gets pretty technical, but the core idea is basically if you arrange qubits, like the building blocks of quantum information, on the SMS grid, and you apply this principle called phi scaling, which is based on the golden ratio, you could potentially stabilize quantum circuits.
Hold on. Are we talking about like building quantum computers based on an ancient magic square? This is getting kind of mind-boggling here.
I know, it sounds like, something out of a sci-fi movie or something.
Yeah.
But think about it, like we're always searching for ways to stabilize these really fragile, delicate quantum systems.
Yeah.
What if this ancient pattern, like embedded in the very structure of reality, holds the key?
That's a really interesting thought.
And get this, the document, it even provides a code snippet that supposedly demonstrates this quantum application.
Wow.
It uses the SMS sequence to apply specific rotations to the qubits, and theoretically that enhances their stability.
So it's like ancient wisdom meets cutting edge technology.
Exactly.
This is really something else.
Hmm.
I'm really curious to hear more about this code and like how it actually works.
Yeah, we can dive into that a bit later.
Yeah, maybe we can save that for later. So
Yeah.
if this SMS can like potentially influence the quantum world,
Right.
what about our own brains?
Oh, it definitely goes there.
Okay.
It dives right into the connection between the SMS, Tesla's 369, and brainwave activity.
Okay.
Specifically, it focuses on how EEGs, electroencephalograms, the things that measure the electrical signals in our brains, could be influenced by these patterns.
You're suggesting like this ancient number square,
Could affect our brainwaves.
yeah, could actually like affect our brainwaves.
It sounds crazy, but that's what it's suggesting.
How would that even work?
So it gets into some complicated neuroscience.
Yeah.
But it's all centered around this concept of phase locking, which is basically when different brainwave frequencies kind of synchronize with each other.
Okay.
And the document claims that the SMS, working with Tesla's 369, it could act almost like a tuning fork,
Okay.
kind of influencing this synchronization.
So you're saying our brain waves
Yeah.
could potentially like resonate with
with this
ancient mathematical pattern.
Yeah.
That's a pretty wild concept.
It is. It gets even wilder. The document specifically highlights theta and gamma brainwave oscillations,
Okay.
which are associated with higher cognitive functions.
Okay.
And even consciousness itself.
Wow.
And it suggests that these brainwave frequencies might be, particularly receptive to this type of synchronization.
Okay, so we've gone from potentially stabilizing quantum computers to maybe influencing consciousness with this Saturn magic square.
Right.
And it sounds like the document doesn't stop there.
No, it keeps going.
It mentioned something about cosmic resonance, right?
It does, yeah.
What's that all about?
So it goes even bigger.
Okay.
It dives into the analysis of gravitational waves.
Okay.
Detected by LIGO, the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory.
Okay.
You know those ripples in space-time caused by massive events like black hole collisions?
Right, gravitational waves, yeah. I remember when they were first detected.
Yeah.
Huge.
It was a huge deal.
Yeah, a huge scientific breakthrough.
But how do they connect back to the Saturn magic square?
So this is where things get really fascinating.
Okay.
The document claims that the frequencies detected by LIGO in these gravitational waves actually align with patterns found in the SMS and vortex math.
Whoa. So you're saying it's like these ancient
It's these ancient mathematical structures.
mathematical structures are somehow imprinted in space-time itself.
Wow, that's a bold claim.
Yeah.
Are there any specific examples from the LIGO data that support this?
There are. The document specifically looks at the gravitational wave event known as GW150912,
Okay.
which was one of the first ones they ever detected.
Right.
And it claims that the frequencies found in the signal, they match up with what they call 7 Saturn harmonics.
7 Saturn harmonics.
Yeah. Although it doesn't actually say what those harmonics are exactly.
That's definitely piques my interest. Okay, so we've got quantum mechanics.
Right.
We got brain waves.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got gravitational waves.
Yeah.
All potentially linked to this seemingly simple mathematical square.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see why our listener was so intrigued by this document. What's the overall takeaway here?
I think the central claim is that the Saturn magic square might be a fundamental blueprint for reality itself. It suggests that this ancient pattern, it's not just some mathematical quirk.
Yeah.
It's a key to understanding how everything from the tiniest particles to the largest cosmic events are structured and how they're all connected.
Wow, that's a lot to process.
It is.
So, I mean, are we dealing with just a bunch of fascinating coincidences, or are we actually on the verge of unlocking a deeper understanding of the universe's structure? I guess that's the big question, isn't it?
That is the big question, and that's what we're going to be exploring in more depth in the next part of our deep dive into this Saturn magic square.
Okay.
We're going to unpack some of the more technical details, those 7 Saturn harmonics,
Right.
and try and make sense of the evidence presented in this document.
Sounds like we got a lot more ground to cover.
We do.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the Saturn Magic Square. Man, I'm still like processing all those mind-blowing connections we talked about last time. Quantum computers, brain waves, even gravitational waves. It's like a lot to take in.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot to process. And remember, like, we're trying to figure out if there's something really substantial to these claims,
Right.
or if it's all just like a bunch of coincidences that sound really intriguing. This document, like, it definitely doesn't shy away from bold statements, but we need to like really look at them carefully.
Absolutely. We're not just going to like blindly accept everything this document is throwing at us.
Right.
We're going to dig in, look for evidence, and try to figure out the logic behind these connections.
Yeah.
Speaking of connections, I'm really curious about that unified coherence framework you mentioned.
Huh.
It all kind of hinges on that 7.28 ratio, right?
Yeah, it does.
And like the document seems to link it to like pretty much everything.
It's a recurring theme throughout this whole document.
Yeah.
That 7.28 ratio, remember, that's like the ratio of days in a week to days in a lunar cycle.
Right.
And it pops up in the SMS itself
You're right.
when you arrange the numbers in that spiral pattern,
Right.
following vortex math.
Okay, so 7.28 seems to be like a key player here
Yeah.
in this unified coherence framework thing.
Right.
But what is the document actually saying about like its significance? Does it like explain how this ratio acts as like a unifying force across all these different scales of reality?
That's the main idea.
Yep.
The document, it proposes that this 7.28 ratio acts like some kind of stabilizing force. Kind of like an underlying harmony that resonates from like the quantum realm all the way up to the cosmos. And it suggests that this ratio is like woven into the very fabric of reality, influencing everything from how particles behave to the structure of galaxies.
I see. So it's like this like underlying rhythm, like a beat that everything in the universe is kind of dancing to.
That's a good way to put it.
I mean, it's a beautiful idea, but
Yeah.
is there like any scientific evidence?
So that's where things get a little bit more complicated.
Okay.
The document, like, it presents some fascinating correlations and points to, like, really interesting examples
Yeah.
from different fields, but it doesn't actually cite any peer-reviewed scientific studies
Right.
to back up its claims.
So we're venturing into like speculative territory here.
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, it's definitely exciting to consider these possibilities, but we need to be careful about jumping to conclusions without like more solid evidence.
Yeah, I agree.
It seems like we're walking this tightrope between these like mind-blowing ideas and
Yep.
and the need for like actual scientific validation. How do we reconcile those two things?
That's the challenge, isn't it? We're faced with these, like, intriguing ideas that connect ancient wisdom and modern science.
Right.
But we need more than just, like, correlations and patterns that kind of suggest things. We need robust scientific evidence to confirm whether these connections are actually real or if they're just, wishful thinking.
Right. It's like
Yeah.
we're exploring this uncharted territory.
Yeah.
We've got these like glimpses of what might be out there, this grand unified coherence framework that like governs everything.
Yeah.
But we need better maps. We need more exploration to actually understand it. And that's what makes this whole deep dive so captivating.
It is, yeah.
It's not about just passively accepting information.
Right.
It's about actively engaging with it,
Yeah,
questioning it,
absolutely.
trying to make sense of it.
Exactly, and that's what we hope our listeners are doing as well. Like, don't just take our word for it, or even the documents. Go
Yeah.
explore these ideas, research them, see what resonates with you. We're not trying to provide, like, the definitive answers here.
Right.
What we're trying to do is spark curiosity and inspire further exploration.
Well said. Now, I know the document like goes beyond just like theoretical frameworks.
Good.
It outlines some like potential applications
It does,
of
yeah.
the SMS and its related concepts, right?
It suggests a bunch of different potential applications, in fields like quantum computing, neural stimulation, and even cryptography.
Let's start with quantum computing.
Okay.
I mean, it's a field with like huge potential,
Huge.
but as we've talked about, it faces like major challenges in terms of stability and scalability.
Absolutely.
And the document like proposes that the SMS might hold a solution, right?
It does, yeah. The document argues that the SMS, with its inherent stability and the principles of like vortex math and phi scaling,
Right.
could be used to design like more robust and scalable quantum circuits.
Okay, so we talked about this a little bit before,
Yeah.
but I'd love to hear a little bit more about like how the SMS could actually be applied in quantum computing. What does the document suggest?
So it proposes using the SMS as like a blueprint for arranging qubits.
Okay.
Imagine the qubits, the building blocks of quantum information,
Mm-hmm.
being strategically positioned on this SMS grid in a way that like optimizes their entanglement and energy distribution.
Okay, so the arrangement of the qubits is like key here.
Yeah, the arrangement is key.
And by arranging them according to the SMS,
Yeah.
the document claims we can like harness the inherent stability of the square itself,
Right.
along with those principles of vortex math,
Right.
to create a more stable quantum system overall.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's like using the SMS as like a scaffolding to build a more stable and robust quantum computer.
I see.
Now, whether this actually works in practice is another question entirely. We're dealing with like theoretical proposals here. A lot more research and experimentation would be needed to figure out if this actually has like any real world viability.
Yeah, but it definitely sounds like a fascinating avenue to like explore.
Absolutely.
This idea that like an ancient mathematical pattern
Could unlock quantum computing.
could hold
Yes.
the key to unlocking the power of quantum computing it's incredible.
It is, yeah.
Speaking of pushing boundaries, the document also mentions like potential applications in neural stimulation, right?
It does, yeah.
Using the SMS
Yeah.
and Tesla's 369 to influence brainwave activity.
It touches on that, yeah.
Yeah.
It suggests that, like, applying specific frequencies and patterns based on the SMS and Tesla's principles could potentially be used to influence brainwave activity. It even, like, speculates about, potential applications for enhancing cognitive function, promoting relaxation, and maybe even treating neurological disorders.
I mean, those are some pretty bold claims. It makes me wonder if there are like any existing technologies or therapies that like already use these concepts.
There is some overlap with existing techniques like transcranial magnetic stimulation
Right.
and neurofeedback,
Yes.
which use targeted magnetic or electrical stimulation to influence brain activity. But the specific application of the SMS and Tesla's 369 in this context is still pretty much theoretical.
So once again, we're kind of in this uncharted territory.
Yeah, we are.
I mean, the possibilities are like really intriguing, but we got to approach these claims with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Absolutely.
We talked about quantum computing, neural stimulation. What about cryptography?
Oh, right.
How does the document propose the SMS could be relevant in that field?
So the document, it highlights these complementary pairs within the SMS.
Okay.
Like 4 and 5, they always add up to 9,
Right.
as do 3 and 6, and so on.
Yeah.
And it suggests that these pairs could be used to create new forms of encryption,
Okay.
particularly quantum-resistant encryption.
Yeah, quantum resistant encryption is like a really hot topic these days.
It is, yeah.
With the rise of quantum computers,
Right.
that could
Yeah.
potentially like crack our existing encryption methods.
Yeah, exactly.
So the document is suggesting that like the SMS could be used to develop encryption algorithms that are like secure even against quantum computers.
That's the idea, yeah. It proposes leveraging those unique mathematical properties of the SMS
okay.
to create encryption methods that are like fundamentally different from what we use now,
Right.
and therefore, resistant to attacks from quantum computers.
It's almost like ironic, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
This ancient symbol potentially helping us both build quantum computers.
Right.
And like protect ourselves from their potential threats.
Yeah, it's like this dual nature of the SMS, right?
Yeah.
A key to unlock new advancements and a shield to protect us from the unintended consequences.
Right. Well, we've covered a lot here, from quantum computing, brainwave entrainment to cryptography. The potential applications of the SMS seem like vast and super varied.
It does, yeah.
And we haven't even gotten to like the most mind-bending part.
Right.
The document's claims about cosmic resonance and the connection between the SMS and gravitational waves.
That's right, yeah. We're going to dive into those cosmic connections
Okay.
in the final part of our deep dive into this Saturn Magic Square.
All right.
Buckle up, listeners, because things are about to get even more cosmic.
Welcome back to the deep dive, everyone. We've been on quite a journey with this Saturn Magic Square,
We have.
from its potential uses in quantum computing and neuroscience all the way to like cryptography. It's been
Yeah,
it's been pretty wild.
a lot to cover.
Yeah, and now we're finally at the like most cosmic aspect of all of this.
Right.
The document's claims about the connection between the SMS and gravitational waves.
Yeah, cosmic resonance. That's where things get really, really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this is where things get like way out there.
Right.
The document seems to be suggesting that the patterns in the SMS, they aren't just some mathematical like coincidence.
Huh.
They're like reflections of fundamental principles that govern the whole universe.
Exactly. It takes the idea of the SMS as like a blueprint for reality
Yeah.
and it pushes it even further.
Yeah.
Remember when we talked about the document like analyzing data from LIGO,
I do, yeah.
the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave
Yeah,
Observatory?
yeah.
And just as a quick refresher for our listeners,
Right.
LIGO detects those ripples in space-time
Uh,
caused by those supermassive events like black holes colliding.
right, black hole collisions, yeah.
And what's so fascinating is that the document claims the frequencies that they detect in these gravitational waves.
Okay.
Specifically, from the event known as GW150914, one of the first ones they ever detected,
Right.
align with certain harmonics that are derived from the SMS.
Harmonics meaning like multiples of a base frequency.
Right, exactly.
But how do you even like get harmonics from a mathematical square?
It's a bit complicated, but the document, it combines a bunch of the concepts we've already talked about, like vortex math,
Uh-huh.
the 7.28 coherence framework,
Okay.
even Tesla's 369 principles
Okay.
to derive what it calls 7 Saturn harmonics.
7 Saturn harmonics. It
Yeah.
sounds like almost mystical.
It does.
And these harmonics supposedly match up with the like actual frequency
The actual frequencies.
of the gravitational waves from LIGO.
That's what the document claims. It says that this correlation, it's strong evidence for a really deep connection between the SMS and like the very fabric of space-time. One thing though, it doesn't actually give us the numbers for these harmonics,
Oh, okay.
which makes it, kind of hard to independently verify the claim.
So the idea is like super fascinating,
Yeah.
but we're missing some crucial details
Yeah.
to actually like assess if it's true or not.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder, is there any like independent scientific evidence
That's the question.
to support these Saturn harmonics and their connection to gravitational waves?
That's the key question, right? The document, it relies a lot on its own interpretations and analysis of the LIGO data, and it doesn't cite any other research, like peer-reviewed stuff, to back up its findings.
And we really got to be careful here.
We do.
I mean, the correlations that the document prones to,
They're intriguing.
they are super intriguing.
Yeah,
But they could just be coincidences, not a sign of an actual causal relationship.
that's possible.
We need a lot more like rigorous investigation
We do, yeah.
to really determine if this SMS actually has this like cosmic significance. It's like we're putting together a jigsaw puzzle,
I like that analogy.
and we got some interesting pieces,
Yeah,
but we're definitely missing some.
we're missing a lot, yeah.
We've got these glimpses of this potentially profound connection,
Right.
but we really need more evidence to complete the picture.
That's science, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a process.
And I think that like really speaks to the nature of scientific inquiry.
Oh, it does.
It's an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
Exploration, discovery, and refinement.
Exactly.
We might never have like all the answers,
Right.
but the pursuit of knowledge itself is its own reward.
I completely agree. It's about embracing the mystery, the unknown,
Yeah.
and always like pushing the boundaries of our understanding.
So where do we go from here? Like,
Yeah.
what are some ways we could do more research on this whole Saturn Magic Square mystery?
Well, one thing we could do is collaborate with like astrophysicists and people who are experts in gravitational waves.
Okay, yeah.
They could like independently analyze the LIGO data
Okay.
using the methods that the document outlines
Yeah.
and, see if they get the same results.
Yeah, that would definitely give a lot more weight to the claims
You would.
if independent people could confirm those correlations
Absolutely.
between the SMS and the gravitational wave frequencies.
Yeah.
Another thing we could do is dig deeper into those potential applications
Right.
of the SMS in fields like quantum computing and neuroscience.
Yeah, we talked about those, but
Right.
they're still largely theoretical.
Yeah.
We need to do some like rigorous testing experiments
Experiment.
to see if they actually like have any merit in the real world.
It's one thing to speculate about the
Yeah.
potential,
Yeah.
but it's a whole other thing to like show it works in practice. And of course, we can't forget about like the philosophical implications
Oh, yeah.
of all this.
Right.
If the SMS really is like a fundamental blueprint for reality,
Right.
what does that mean
Big questions.
about the nature of the universe,
Yeah.
our place in it?
These are questions that, like, philosophers and scientists have been thinking about for a long time.
Yeah.
And the SMS, with its, like, intriguing connections to math and science and even, like, spirituality, it offers a new perspective on these old mysteries.
It makes us consider that maybe there are like deeper levels of order
Yeah.
and interconnectedness in the universe than we realize.
Absolutely.
That there might be these hidden patterns and harmonies,
Yeah.
underlying everything,
Wow.
connecting us all.
It's humbling, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And it's inspiring. It suggests that there's still so much we don't know,
Yeah.
so much left to explore.
And that sense of wonder, that drive to explore, that's what makes this depth dive so exciting.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not just about the Saturn Magic Square itself.
Right.
It's about the bigger search to understand the universe and where we fit in.
It is, yeah.
Well, we're wrapping up this episode. We want to leave our listeners with a few final thoughts.
Okay.
Whether or not you believe all the specific things in this document about the Saturn Magic Square,
Yeah.
it's undeniable that it sparked our imaginations.
It has.
It's opened up new ways of thinking about things.
For sure. It reminds us that there's still wonder and mystery out there.
Yeah.
And there's always more to learn.
Always more to discover.
Yeah.
And maybe most importantly, it encourages us to think critically.
Absolutely.
Question what we think we know.
Yeah.
And stay open to new ideas.
Yeah, even the ones that seem kind of crazy at first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep that sense of wonder alive. Who knows what other mysteries are out there just waiting for us?
Right.
Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the Saturn Magic Square. We hope you found it as interesting as we did.
We did, yeah. And remember, we want to hear from you.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? What really stuck with you?
Yeah, tell us.
Share your insights, your questions on social media.
Until next time, keep on exploring and keep seeking those connections that bind us all.
Yeah.
And as always, stay curious.